I was backpacking alone through a state forest. The trail I was on was heavily regulated, and you could only stay at designated campsites that you had to reserve in advance. The trail itself was very long, probably around 80 miles if you hiked the whole thing, so rangers rarely came through. I had reserved 2 campsites, one at the 12-mile mark and another at the 26-mile mark. The campsites were spaced far apart, almost a mile from each other. I reached the first site around midday and spent the afternoon resting. During my hike and while at the campsite, I didn't see a single other hiker. It was off-season, so that wasn't too surprising, but it definitely felt unusual. I went to bed early that night and slept pretty well, only waking up briefly when I thought I heard footsteps somewhere along the trail. It was probably around 2 or 3 a.m., but it didn't bother me enough to fully wake me up. The next morning I had breakfast, packed up, and started heading toward the next campsite. The trail was just as empty as the day before. This leg of the hike was about 4 miles longer and had more elevation, so I didn't reach the second site until late afternoon. The sun was still up when I got my tent set up and started a small fire. But as darkness fell, the forest felt unusually quiet, almost too quiet. Around 9 or 10 p.m., I heard footsteps coming from the trail behind me. When I looked back, I saw a faint light moving between the trees, slowly getting closer to my campsite. At first, I thought maybe it was another hiker, but it was odd for anyone to be walking that late. The light moved closer until it stopped, almost as if it was facing me. Then, a few seconds later, it veered off the trail and disappeared into the trees, the light turning off completely. I watched the spot for another 15 to 20 minutes, but saw nothing. I figured whoever it was had probably set up a small campsite somewhere nearby, but it still didn't explain the strange noises I'd heard the night before. An hour later, I heard something again. Quiet crunching of leaves just a few yards from my campsite. My heart raced. I grabbed my flashlight and shone it into the darkness. Standing just 10 yards away was a man. He wasn't dressed like a hiker, had no backpack, and he didn't move, as if he was hoping I wouldn't see him. I called out, "What are you doing?" He hesitated for a moment, then started walking toward me slowly. His face curled into a smile, but something about him felt off, familiar yet unplaceable. And then he spoke my name, like we were old friends. It hit me. This person had been following me, probably for several nights. He didn't look like a backpacker because he wasn't one. Whoever he was, he had quietly trailed me through the forest, only approaching when he thought I might be asleep. I strapped on my backpack and started moving down the trail. He called my name again, more aggressively this time, but he didn't chase me for long. I kept moving through the night using my satellite emergency phone to contact authorities while trying to put as much distance between us as possible. Eventually, I met a park ranger several miles from the campsite and was able to get to safety. They never found him. He didn't have a car at the trailhead, no reservations, nothing. To have exited the forest unseen, he would have needed to hike off-trail for dozens of miles. In a wilderness like that, without gear, that's almost impossible, even for an experienced hiker. To this day, I don't know who he was, and the thought that he might still be out there watching terrifies me. Every time I recall those nights, I'm reminded of how alone and vulnerable I was, and I know I'll never go camping alone like that again.